Meanwhile, the royal daughter of Saturn gives a final touch to war. Now all the shepherds are pouring toward the city, bringing back the slain, young Almo and the mangled face that was Galesus. They implore the gods and call on King Latinus. Turnus too is there, and in the outcry at the slaughter, among the fires of passion, he redoubles the terror. He says Teucrians are called to rule, that Phrygian blood is to be mingled with Latin, that he is banished from the palace. And then the kinsmen of those women who, when driven by wild Bacchus, leaped across the pathless groves and dances, and the name of Queen Amata is not without effect, join in from every side and cry, "War! War!" At once, despite the signs and oracles of gods, through some perverted power, all ask for unholy war. In eagerness they press around the palace of Latinus. He, like a steady rock amid the sea, resists, a rock that, when the breakers crash, holds fast to its great mass while many waves howl on against it. All around in vain the crags and foaming sea cliffs roar. The seaweed, dashed hard against its sides, is driven back. But when no power is granted him to check their blind resolve, when all moves at the will of savage Juno, then, again, Father Latinus calls upon the gods, and on the empty air he cries, "The fates have crushed us, we are carried by the storm. Unhappy men, the penalty for this will yet be paid with your profaning blood. O Turnus, vengeance, bitter punishment for this unholy act will wait for you. Too late your prayers will venerate the gods. My rest is near, my harbor is in view. A happy burial is all I lose." He said no more, but shut himself within the palace, let the reins of rule fall slack. Within Hesperian Latium there was a custom which the Alban cities held as holy from that time, and which now Rome, the mistress of the world, still honors. When they first incite Mars into battle, whether preparing for a lamentable war against Hyrcanians, Geti, Arabs, or to march on India and to hunt the dawn and claim their standards back from Parthians, there are twin gates of war, so they are called, made sacred by religion and the fear of savage Mars. 100 bolts of brass and the eternal strength of iron hold them. Their keeper, Janus, never quits the threshold. And when the elder's will is set on combat, the consul, in the robe of Romulus and Gabine girdle, with his own hand unlocks the creaking portals, and he calls on battle to issue out. The young take up his cry, the brazen trumpets echo hoarse accord. In this way, too, Latinus was commanded to call for war against Aeneas' sons, to unlock the gates of sorrow. But their king and father would not touch the doors. He turned and fled from that foul office, hid himself among blind shadows. Then the Queen of Gods, when she had glided from the heavens, forced the slow gates. On their turning hinges Saturn's daughter burst the iron doors of war. Ausonia, once at rest, unmoved, is now aflame. A part prepare to march on foot across the plains, while others, mounted on tall horses, charge in clouds of dust. All call for arms with eagerness. Some burnish shields to smoothness, brighten javelins with fat tallow, or grind their axe heads sharp on stone. And they delight to bear their standards, hear the clang of trumpets. So 5 mighty cities set up their anvils and renew their weapons. The strong Athena, Ardea, haughty Theba, Crustumum, and turreted Antemne. Some hollow trusted helmets for their heads, and for their shields weave frameworks out of willow, while others hammer breastplates out of bronze or mold their polished greaves in pliant silver. The honor and the love that once was theirs for plowshare and for sickle yield to this. For this they forge anew their fathers' swords and furnaces. The trumpets wail, the watchword passes from man to man, the battle signal. One snatches up a helmet from his house in trembling haste. Another yokes impatient horses and buckles on his shield and mail of 3-ply gold, makes fast his faithful sword. O goddesses, now open Helicon and guide my song. What kings were spurred to war, what squadrons filled the plains behind each chieftain. What men graced lovely Italy even then? What arms set her ablaze? For goddesses, you can remember and retell. The slender breath of that fame can scarcely reach to us.